Salutations, blessings, blessings. Come on in. Welcome to Dr. Q's Black Door. This particular session is about intimate connections. Okay, pardon me, intimate connection. Let me take a little drink here. My mouth was kind of dry. We have been ramping up a series of connections or a series of videos that we're going to be doing in sessions with a lot of people from across the United States. We do have a couple now here on the panel that I am going to bring in. We have discussed last week about intimate connections. One of the panel members have actually shared some of her ordeals in intimate connections and situationships with us, and we very much appreciate that. We do have two extra new panel members that we normally have in a group as well, but we're also going to bring them in. But before I address anything and bring them in, let's address the channel rules. Okay, so with that being said, let me bring that in. Okay, so the channel rules are: before you act, listen. Before you react, think. Before you criticize, wait. Before you quit, try. And before you try again. But just don't try me or the channel, please. Okay? So, with that being said, let's heal it. All right. So, like I stated once before, I do have a couple of other panel members on. I'm going to go ahead and bring them all in. And I do much appreciate every last one of my panel members. Um, Currently, we do have this position. I see here that we have Mila Largo, we have Tamika, and Janae. Um, we can choose to be on the camera. If not, that's fine. But it would be, wonderful if you did. But also, if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and a little bit how you come about on your spiritual journey, that would be great. We can start off with a little bit. You want to, Miller, you want to start first?
Sure. Hello, everybody. This is Milagro. I'm I'm from Texas, but I live in New York City now. Um, I started. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, I just heard it's silence. Oh, you muted yourself.
I muted myself. Yes.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. So I'm living in New York City now. I started my spiritual journey like 7 years ago. So I started from the bottom, literally like from the streets, and I gradually worked my way out of the streets using spiritual knowledge that I spent majority of my time studying, and it allowed me to see reality for what it is. So I would we could go in depth, but that's a brief summary of who I am and where I'm going.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, and how he and I actually kind of met, just a little bit familiarize us with the channel and each panel member. He and I became, we all met on Facebook in a lot of esoteric and exoteric types of groups. And we wind up linking up, and we just automatically knew that we became a soul group. So we've been interacting with each other for about a number of 3 to 4 years, about 3 and 4 good years, right? So I duly note that within my Akashic records, I very much appreciate that connection. One moment here, looks like someone else is trying to come in here. Okay. All right. Welcome. Salutations. Salutations, Michael. How are you? Okay, so he probably can't hear us, but okay, so let's go on to what I was stating before. But I do duly much appreciate you all, over the last 3 or 4 years that we have been in the soul group. Next, we have Tamika with is in the next fold. I asked that you also kind of get yourself introduced into the connection.
Good evening, everyone. Let's see. I got so much to join me. I'm a hairstylist. So in hair, they teach you a whole new bunch of stuff about like the skin, uh, just different things. And I kind of got into it that way, and then fellowship with my brother kind of opened up a whole lot for me. I also worked for child support for 17 years. So I kind of got to experience a lot of stuff. It kind of kept me away from relationships
Mm.
and because of the things that I've seen. I went in at 21 and I resigned uh, last year in November because I wasn't going to get the COVID shot. So with all of that, part of my spiritual journey, I want to say, I don't want to life, but really came into awareness like 2013. And so it's been life altering, life changing, but definitely life rewarding. And so I'm more or less an observer of it, but I kind of do my own thing, but always willing to communicate with others when necessary. So that's it for me.
Nice, nice. I thank you for sharing that, but I bet you that was a bit of a big ordeal where you can get familiarized, and I do understand that. I can see where you would get that from, but what started you out basically is what you stated was how you guys started getting into skin, which was with your esthetician and stuff like that, right? So you were basically an empath who could feel the energy on you. That's how it started for you.
Absolutely.
Your hair looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Janae. And Janae, appreciate you as well. Janae has also been within our esoteric group in another type of group setting. We do much appreciate her. Like I stated once before, she did explain to us the last conversation and share with us what dynamics she faced during a relationship that she had. So we do much appreciate that. If there is anything that you'd like to be able to say this evening, that would be great.
Just keep my mic is echoing.
Huh?
My mic echoing.
Oh, okay, okay. Got it, got it. Um, all right. Well, then we'll go ahead and we'll speak with Mike. We'll go on with him. Thank you for joining us as well. He as well has been in another group setting with us as well, gaining and getting some very high vibration going on. You want to introduce yourself a little bit about how you start and began on your journey?
Alright. My name is Michael Lee Hall Jr. And this started. I guess when I came out the womb, because when I came out the womb, I was, you know, I had a bit of a cord around my neck, so they had to pull me out. Then I was in the incubator for like a while. I was dealing with a bad back. So then by the time I hit like fifth grade and was in church, that's when it was like stuff that made sense at a young age. So it's always been a problem with me. I've been a rebel since I came out, to be honest. But it really started to kick in probably like, I would say like in 2014. I went down to um, Dr. Aleen's establishment, and we went down there and we had some fun. And the main thing to me was just know that people was vibing and talking about what you were talking about. It's been real ever since 2014.
Mm, mm. And thank you for sharing that. And so you've basically known ever since you were a young child that you had some sort of that something was a little bit different, and you could sense your being.
For sure.
Yeah, that's very much of how most of us all are, but we become blocked, whether it be because of the metals in the foods that we normally eat, or versus whether a parent blocking us by way of anything, you know, anger, despair, any of those types of aggressives that that we have to, and oppressive types of emotions that we have to go through as children because we just can't leave.
Now that's powerful because when even when you was real younger, probably a lot of us, our parents would tell us, you got a bad temper. And
Yes. If I would have known then what I know now about my being, about my temper, I would have I just would have done things differently. I know that I would have done things differently. I would have reacted differently, you know what I mean, toward people. I would have been a little bit more able to govern my own energy without it being so loose, like a loose cannon, you know. But with that in itself, it's kind of like that becomes the childhood trauma that we create in blockages for ourselves and things of such. And then we grow up becoming that man child or that man woman, I mean, that child man, even a man woman, because some of them get their identity miscued. But I mean, like, basically, you forget that you're an adult. You put away childish things because you're a child. You don't do those things
right?
anymore. You're an adult. You do adult like things. When you're a child, you do childlike things, and when you become an adult, you do adult like things.
I know.
And we didn't learn or were taught properly to be able to address those things within us so that we might be able to heal from those things right away. Right away. We shouldn't have to hold on to it for weeks and months and days, where we become ill. You know, there's lots of things that come into play when it comes to our own personal healing, taking our own being responsible for our own selves. Okay, in order for us to be responsible for ourselves, we got to know and address what's wrong. So then that means to be able to address the situation of the people, place, or thing, address it, analyze it, accept the parts that we've played in it, and forgive the people, place, or thing, if you can, so that you can be able to move on. That energetic forgiveness or porridge that you have, it can be poured into your own storehouse for you. So that when you start to feel some kind of low vibrational energy or you start to feel low, you can bank off that energy. Okay? You can bank off your cup. You keep pouring into your cup. As long as you keep pouring into your cup, you should be pretty much, I get it though. You pour a lot into everyone else's cup and then you don't have enough to replenish for yourself. It can get very draining. It can get very depressive. It can get very straining because you start to feel like fall into victim consciousness level because you start to feel like the energetic pull of whoa. Okay? And I know that everybody has felt whoa, like, man, whoa, I feel like, dang, I'm tired. What do I do? How do you replenish yourself? how do you replenish yourself? How do you work with your own energetic field? Okay.
Always the mission.
Yeah, all your dimensions. Because we are multi-dimensional beings. Okay. So for
That's
those
probably
that
that's
have,
probably like the biggest thing we got going on is pulling all them aspects of yourself together and keep it balanced.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because it's like right now when you watch it, what's going on? Is it because they're doing insane, or is it easy to just do fucked up shit?
Uh, I believe it would be both, because some people like to do negative things.
See,
It's the part of the duality and polarity, the dark and the light. And some people just like to do dirt. Some people just like to see other people do dirt. You know?
those are the ones that's getting cleaned up and swept up.
Mo- Most definitely. Okay? We do know that. Um, we have seen a lot of calamity on the planet. We've seen a lot of people leaving the planet in mass numbers. So, as far as what we know down here in the 3D, 4D, 5D, or whatever dissension dimensional level that one might be able to receive this information in, when we see a lot of people leaving the planet, that is, in our sense, a like what is an actual, sorry, I had to bring him in here real quick. That's an actual what do you call it when they say that we're all going to leave the planet all in one time. I mean, not a purge, but we're all leaving
Yeah,
in one big mass.
correct.
Okay. So if that's the way it is, did no one else know that? I mean, this is what we see from out of the quote unquote Bibles, prophecies, and things of such. They didn't know we were all going to wake up in the ways that we were and learn as quick. Okay? They didn't know that we were going to learn as quick. They knew we were going to wake up. They knew that the world was going to become more awakened, but just not in this way. Okay, they hadn't counted on us actually getting the information processed. But let's welcome our next guest, and that is Alonzo. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you for joining Dr. Q's Black Door of Intimate
Greetings,
Connections
all.
again for our next section. We did bring everyone else in to introduce themselves if in fact they became visible here. So please do give us your name and how you started on your journey.
Okay, my name is Lonzo. Um, I feel like I've been on this journey my entire life. Um, I like to say, I've awakened numerous times throughout the years. My journey has probably been more real than most, I can say. I've had a lot of things revealed to me. The universe has given me, I guess I can say, the magic glass, the veil that's been revealed from my eyes and my ears. And it's just undeniably surreal. And honestly, my journey is very much so far from over. And I remember a time when I didn't even understand it, but I knew what was going on. But now anytime I see anything or I hear anything, there's no fear. I went through a phase where I had fear. And for those of you that know, fear does not live in this world. Only faith and love lives in this world. So I went through a phase where I had fear. I went through a phase of misunderstanding. And now uh, I live it's on a higher frequency of abundance of love. So there is no fear. There is only open-hearted and understanding. And Q has actually helped me a lot along this path as well. I met her through her channel, The Children of the Sun. And when I watched her video, she was the very first person that I listened to that made me not feel crazy. So I had to reach out to her, and eventually she got back to me. And I was actually out in Colorado. I went out there one time, and I had, I call them divine intervention moments. And I had a moment out there. When I came back to Dallas, I found out that she was out there. And the next time I made my way out there, I made a point to meet her to discuss these things in person.
And that was shocking as well, because I kind of was just not so much as saying I was starting a journey. I had already been on the journey for a long, long while since I was a child, but it was, I had started that particular channel 3 years before you had come to the channel.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate that, you know, I really do. That got us closer to a better understanding of each other, as well as his mother got connected through the same, by way of link, and so she gets the same energetic pull and benefit, like, hey, you know, she'll call sometimes, and you know, her and I chop it up. But yeah, I appreciate the soul tribe that we have gotten.
Yeah, as do I. I appreciate this connection.
Let me see here. It looks like there's someone in the chat, but it doesn't look like that I can bring them in, because it says that they don't want to do their mic. So I don't know what's up with that. Let me see who you have to have.
They should cut their mic on and just mute themselves.
And then mute. Okay, well, let's see if I'll see if she even sees that. I text her offline as well, so hopefully she'll see that. If not, then I'm sure she'll just be I'm sure she's still there, because it says that the device is not connected for some reason. But like I said, I do appreciate each and every one of you showing up and sharing a little bit about yourselves on your journey. The purpose, like I stated, about these particular sessions were to ramp up intimate connections between all the people, places, and things that we do interact with. Okay, whether it be, you know, our relationships, our marriages, our relationships with our siblings, relationship with your boss, people, place, or things, those types of things. Okay, we're not just meaning in a specific relationship, because at some point, sometimes people become attached to their jobs. whether it be a pleasurable situation for them, you know, and a lot of people may like to be able to, you know what I mean, be attached to their job, still feel pleasurable, but still see pleasure in their family benefiting from the benefits of them working, being able to buy and purchase anything that they want at any given time, but still better yet, they don't have their father or their mother there as a physical being at some point. So there's a lot of pros and cons to a lot of the things that that we have to deal with a lot of the intimate connections. Okay, so I had kind of saved a lot of information, but I kind of was working with this particular app and it was allowing me to do what I needed to do. So I'm going to kind of go through some information so that we can be able to get a little bit familiarized of how our actual body systems work with the intimate connections and how we work along with those emotions, so you don't be creating a deluge for yourself. She's saying it's not allowing her to cut it on. Maybe log out and log back in.
Maybe log out.
It does that sometimes. I like this particular app either way because I like it way better than Zoom right now. Shoes. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up a little bit of the information to see exactly, give us a little bit of familiarization of where certain things might be that we have to deal with. Okay, but I'm going to kind of in and out kind of pop our rules up for those that do come in, and that is for the channel rules being you before you act. Okay, so while that's up and that's kind of up there, I'll be kind of looking for our file. In the meanwhile, is there anything that any one of you would like to address as far as certain things that you might, can't say be curious about, but might be a seeker of or seeking about? No? No one? That's fine. Let's see where I can go on from here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of bring up some information.
To answer your question, I think after we start becoming awake, we will never stop looking for more knowledge. It's like a natural seeker of knowledge.
Yeah, I believe that if you stop learning, or if you think that you stop learning and you don't want to learn anymore, I believe you're right there. Even automatically, though, we know that as soon as we come from out of our mother's womb, we automatically start dying. But at that point, I think that when you stop thinking that you don't have anything else to learn from anything on this planet, I think you might as well just crawl up and go and die. I mean,
That's right.
I mean, real talk, because at some point, it's kind of like,
You should learn something new every day.
as that one movie, Them, what you gonna do? I'm just kidding. What you gonna do? It looks like I'm trying to bring up some of these. I'm just gonna bring it up when it's not in there. If you guys can hear any of the coughing back there, that's my little girl. She's back there sick, still sick. Can you guys see this? You can't see this, right? You can't see anything that I'm sharing right now.
No.
Okay, good. Sugar. I appreciate you guys being so diligently quiet and waiting. We don't have to be as quiet though. Anybody got any
I know
music?
this is Q podcast, but I'm an open book when it comes to my journey. If anyone has any questions,
Okay. Well, you know what? While I'm looking for that, why don't you share the experience that you had at the Kevin Gates concert?
okay, okay, all right. So I've always told my lady that Kevin Gates music uh it touches me different. It connects with me differently, and I guess she took it in the sense of me just simply liking Kevin Gates. Now, mind you, I've never been to a concert before because I know of the energy that it exposes to. And, my love, then my love, she, knowing me, she got these tickets to get me to the Kevin Gates. So, during the concert, everything was normal up until he came on stage, and at that point, everything kind of switched up. It's kind of as if he was aware of me being there and kind of talking directly to me with some of the messages that he was, I guess, sliding in between his music. And, I guess kind of like listening between the lines. So, as I said, the universe has pulled the veils away from over my eyes. So once he came on stage, I became aware of the different entities that were present that night. And as I became more aware of them, they became more aware of me. And I don't know if any of y'all know how it feels to feel like you're standing in a room, you have all eyes on you. But that's pretty much how it felt. I received a few different messages that night, but in my eyes, I could see different beings, I'm gonna say. I saw angelic beings and I saw demonic beings that night. And given that, so Kevin Gates literally said when he was out there that his music, he said that he's head of a tribe of which his music connects and heals your chakra, right? So when he got on stage and started doing his thing, that energy connected to mine, and I want to say gave me somewhat of a boost, right? It's not the first time I've felt that type of energy at a cruise, honestly. It's probably like maybe, I don't know, maybe like the fifth time or something like that. But when that energy comes over you, it feels as if you're levitating over the world, even though you're physically there. So so again, it was like I could see the angelic beings and the demonic beings that was there. And honestly, Kevin Gates feared for my safety because, and he said it, he was like, "Oh, you made a grave mistake," because I don't know if he wasn't aware that it was going to have that type of effect on me, but he was aware of the danger that I was putting in that moment. So again, I don't know if y'all are in tune or if y'all understand, but this spiritual life is not for the weak. It is not a game, like at all. It is real. So I remember I began to I say I was speaking a forbidden language. And I say it's forbidden because of the attention that it brings your way. So though he was singing his song in English, I decided to take it upon myself to speak it in the forbidden language. And it brought attention onto me, which is why I said it felt like all eyes were on me. And that attention, you could see like the demonic entities like walking by or like standing around, just looking back at you, watching me looking at it. And you can see the angelic entities watching over and it's really interesting because as I've had or when I had a negative thought, I could feel and I could hear the negative pulling at the lower vibrational entities pulling it. And when I had a positive thought, I would feel the angelic entities pulling at me. So everyone knows, you know, there's two sides. And honestly, I like to play with it sometimes just to make sure that I'm not twisted. So I consciously went back and forth between the two just to ensure that I wasn't tripping. And even Kevin Gates was reacting to me going back and forth between the two. And
And this was all at the concert?
all at the concert. It's all at the concert. Yeah, it was actually pretty interesting actually because my lady got she didn't get a ticket like in I guess inside you could say, but we were sitting outside. We still had access to walk through inside or not. We were sitting outside. And honestly, when I looked up in the sky, stars, you could see the triangle above the stadium. And I could hear the voices, you know, some positive, some negative. Entities always talk trash. It really don't matter what side they are. They are very judgmental. I think they understand the limbo that humanity goes through sometimes. But yeah, so I could hear them talking. I could see them looking, and I have this type of clairvoyance to, I guess, distinguish between the two. And I can say that with me walking and that faith of love that pretty much I would like to say I guess untouchable by the Lord frequently to an extent, because we can all influence one another to change that, and it can change within a quick second. Honestly, it can change so fast. You can become vulnerable within a quick second. You have to keep your guard up at all times. And I remember something kind of came over me, and and I was like, I followed my intuition when I felt it to move from where I was to try to get closer um, toward the stage. I was trying to get through, and honestly, it's always revealed to me the same. But and when I say it, I mean like the entity.
Hmm.
Their aura is always the same. You can always distinguish between the
And
two
do
because of their aura.
you, pardon me, but do you have a smell that you smell? Because sometimes,
Yeah, some of them, the lower frequencies stink.
mhm, it
Yeah,
smells like sulfur.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
And my lady, she wasn't aware, but she's aware of me now. Honestly, I was kind of hoping I could bring her into this side of me gradually, but that night didn't allow me to do so. So I had to explain everything. And
And so is that when you contacted me?
yeah, I contacted you. Um, I actually contacted you before I told her everything because I wasn't sure. Like I say, I've been in this world for a very long time. So one thing that I've always been cautious of is opening my mouth to all the wrong people. So yeah, I spoke to you before because, like I say, I know our connection, and I know you can give me a little guidance and make me feel more comfortable with my decision. But I remember that night, like I say, I started following my intuition, started moving closer to the stage, and even she didn't really understand why. And she tried to pull away, and I remember I asked her, like, "Baby, do you love me?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, "Then walk with me." You know, it felt as if I was attempting to bring her along the path of ascension with me, and she rebelled at first because she didn't understand. She thought I don't know. I guess she see the world the rest. I guess the way that most people do. Like I say, I see it differently. So she didn't understand, but as she walked with me, I could literally hear Kevin Gates. He was like, "There go the love." Like everything, even in the angelic entities there was like actually proud of the love that was there.
Mm.
And but the lower frequency entities there, they still kind of like try to block us from getting to where we were trying to be. And I was so caught up in the moment of trying to understand what was going on, because one thing I can say is when you're in those moments, that's why I call them divine interventions, because those moments only last as long as you are in that energy. It's like being inside. Oh, Q used that analogy. It's like being inside that room or being inside of a video game. And if you leave, once you leave that room, you can't go back. You already lost that totem, right? And that's exactly how it felt, because I actually sent my lady to the car so I could finish what I was doing.
Ashe.
And and she and I remember on my way out after doing what I was doing, So what I did was my Merkaba started. I don't know if everybody know what a Merkaba is, but my Merkaba it began to, I guess, spin
Mm-hmm.
rapidly spin so hard that it was making me spin. Uh, but like I went her through the car so I could focus on this energy and tune into see exactly what was going on. And even before I left, because I knew that there was other things that I had to take care of, and that before I left, right before I left, I was walking past the lower entity beings and the higher entity beings, and it's crazy because though there is a spiritual war, I'm passing them all. They're all like standing there, like waiting, trying to see what I'm going to do. And like one of the angelic beings were like, because she see me, and she was like, right before I hit the door, she was like, "Are you leaving anything? Like, are you sure? You know, once you walk out that door, you can't come back, right?"
Now, that's what the actual entity was saying, or your girl?
No, my girl was already at the car. The entity was saying that it was a higher
It was
being
just a
saying
higher
that to me.
frequency giving you that particular energy.
Right? They letting me know, like, hey, you're on the right path. Are you sure you're not leaving anything? Are you sure you're not forgetting anything?
And
So, I mean, frankly, I was out of town, and as much as I wanted to go back and explore, the lower entity beings were really in the way, as they always are. But when they're in physical form, they have more power to be in the way, you know, stopping me from getting to places that I needed to be.
mm,
Even like I actually even went in the bathroom and closed myself in a stall just so I could focus on my Mercury in peace. but
okay, all right, all
but
right.
the lower entity being kept coming in the bathroom and interrupting me.
And were they just they were just trying to send distorted information energy, or was it
That's
trying to
pretty
get you
much
to
what
do
they were
something
doing.
else, or
Yeah, they were pretty much sending distorted energy. They would, and like I say, I could see the difference between the two. So I know that it was the lower entity beings out there, like disturbing me, trying to stop me from doing what I was working on doing.
mm-hmm. Well, working with your own personal Merkaba and your Akashic records in itself, especially when the soul wants it to do something. That's why it's asking you. That's why it was asking you, like, did you forget something?
Yeah, did you forget?
Yeah. I
But
mean,
like
we're
I
in
say,
the age
my
of
moment,
memory, so yeah, you better start remembering and doing, taking self inventory and checking with yourself again to make sure, in fact, hey, that's I got all my checks and balances.
right? And
Okay.
like I say, like um, the universe gives me the magic glasses. Like I say, like I could when I pulls the veil over my eyes. And honestly, my great grandmother was said to been born with the veil removed from her eyes, over her eyes. So my family has been in this for a very long time. But I was even able to see the soul ties that my lady had because I released my soul because I understand the process.
And so, both of your connection, your intimate connection that you're sharing with her now on this journey.
Uh-huh.
So is she okay in do you feel that she's a little bit more understanding now than she was before when when you first started speaking with her about that?
I do. Um, when we began to talk about it, she actually expressed to me that it wasn't weird. It wasn't. and she actually did understand it, and she said she expressed to me that she may not be as, I don't know, I don't want to say as elevated or where I am, but she expressed to me that she may not be as deep into it as where I am, but she would like to. She expressed to me that, and honestly, I knew when we met that she was a light being,
Mm-hmm.
but he's just,
And what gave you the inclination that she was filled with light?
I can feel it. I can feel it. Just like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if any of y'all can feel it from me. Like, you can look at me and you can tell that I'm a light being. You know, you can look at you and tell through your energy, even through this camera, that you're a light being.
I try to put a little bit of powder on because I know I give off a big shine on my face. I'll be like, man,
But the
can't
lower
stand
frequency
it.
being, they can see it too, and it shines so bright that they can't stand it,
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
which is why they come for us. They try to dim their light.
Oh no, you should never ever dim your light.
You should never
Ever.
dim your light. You should strive to let it shine more.
Yeah, you start dimming your light, it lets your the seat of your soul, it lets it know, hey, you're not as strong as you think or as you proclaim to be.
Right.
So,
But even in the astral realm, during sleep, I've had moments where I have fought demons with my light.
where you-
Like,
oh, you mean in the spirit realms? And you
yeah,
fought beings? Oh yes, oh yes.
I have literally had fist fight.
Yeah, I've heard that with clients, and I've heard that in other groups, and experienced other people who have stated that they were in, since they're able to tap into their multi-dimensional self, that they're able to fight those particular energetic demons, so to speak.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and they'll
so
come
yeah.
for you. But what I realized is, because honestly, I realized it during my first trip. Well, I realized it years and years ago, honestly, because of the connection that I have with the earth. But I really want everybody to realize that you're a lot stronger than what you think.
Oh, of course, yes. And how do you per se interact with other connections of people, place, or things to do that? How do you participate in doing that?
How do I participate in, like, what exactly is my connection, like my power?
Like when you want to encourage one to do that, how do you go about doing that? What do you do? Do you, like
I
for
try to
me, I give
educate
daily
them.
affirmations and meditations, and hoping that some of that information will, is doable for the average Joe down here in the 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever dimensional D.
Honestly, I'll start off with like trying to talk to them and explain help them understand the what energy is. And I've even once I feel that they understand, I even go through little practices with them with like little things to help them understand the connection that we have with the world. Like little things, like I don't know, like
And so,
making a clap, little things, you know.
yeah, but for those who are of understanding of that, yeah, we receive that. But then there are some that may come to this video as well that may not understand some of that information, as far as like making a cloud disappear. They're like, what the hell does that mean?
Right.
We're speaking of the power of suggestion and imagination.
Yeah.
And if you don't have some, then go get you some.
Right,
You
because
know,
it,
tap
it
in.
starts with visualization.
Okay.
It starts with that visualization. And people, like we are energy, but people don't take the time out to feel out their own energy, you know. And like I tell you,
They just say he or she is not on my level.
right.
They
And
ain't on
some
my
people don't even
level,
understand what that
or
means.
right, right. I mean,
Some
I
people
get that.
don't even understand what that means.
Right,
They
right.
say it all the time. People say it all the time, but they don't even understand.
Well, they know that a person gets up underneath their skin. They know that.
Right,
Okay, so they know that, and they know that what will set them off. Okay, which is a lot of what we all kind of deal with when we're throwing stuff in the air, wanting people to hear them. You know, you don't really communicate effectively in the ways that you think. Well, you communicate. Now, whether how
right,
effective it is, whether it's good or bad, is up to you or the situation of the people, place, or thing. But
right,
if in fact it's a healthy connection or a healthy, effective communication, then hey, we can heal that. Okay? Let's heal that.
right.
Okay? Look, let me ding me. Let's heal that. All right? For
All
real,
right.
for real. Because that's a part of self evolution that you'll both have for self mastery for yourself, for both of you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I
Like, and
appreciate that.
it's also being like consciously aware. Like, I don't think people are as consciously aware as they claim to
Oh,
be.
you're aware when you become awakened, when you open up your eyes in the morning. I promise you. It's just that they're still just like um, automatically they go straight to the hustle and bustle. Like,
Right,
I got to get up, I got to go to work, I got these kids, I have to take them,
right,
to all these different people, places, and things. And I get that. I get that, but you still have to have and make time for yourself.
right.
And usually I ask that, even that question, like, how do you, other than your birthday, how do you celebrate yourself? You know,
Right.
how do you celebrate you? How do you celebrate yourself?
Yeah, I personally celebrate myself every day.
And how do you do
It,
that?
it,
And then that way, I mean,
just
tell me how you do
appreciating.
that for yourself, and then we'll move on and ask other panels how they do that for themselves.
So, like, for myself, it's not like your average party of drinking and all of that, drinking, smoking, all of that. Now, for me, it's just appreciating and understanding that I was able to wake up as the energy being that I am, the spirit as I am inside. I was able to wake up and walk through it and experience it. Because I understand that life is truly an experience, no matter how good or how bad life is. I understand that life is an experience, and I'm here to experience it. So I celebrate every day with simply waking up and acknowledging that I am the being inside. And honestly, being happy and being proud that I am.
And that also helps you to not be codependent on the other person to make you happy.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So next, is there anyone else that would like to share how you celebrate yourself? Janae, you want to share anything about how you celebrate yourself as a feminine energy?
Yeah. I take myself. Health is very important. What I put in my body, I honor my. I pray to my. I'm quick to tell other people, pray to your motherfucking self. Um, just taking spiritual baths, care of myself, and make sure I get knowledge or get some knowledge, any knowledge. And how I love myself.
Uh-oh. Was that me? Or is that her? I'm sorry.
What?
Did it cut off? It cut off? Or could you
No,
guys still hear?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. I was like, what happened? I was messing around with the computer and then I was like, uh-oh, what happened? I couldn't hear.
yes.
I was trying to look for some files. But go ahead, let me turn off my camera while I look for it because that's the only way I can really look for it without interrupting it. So I'm gonna turn my camera off while I look for this real quick because I was trying to show you guys something, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyone else?
Is there anyone else that wants to share, please? Oh, there it goes.
I share some. Um, for me, um, how I celebrate myself. Um, first of all, anything accomplishments that I do, no matter how big or small, pat myself on the back and really feel appreciative for it. I'm a dancer also, so I'm able to really express myself. That's a great way for me to release pent up energy, and of course, exercise. I'm really connected spiritually when I'm dancing. I be having a lot of spiritual moments when I dance. It's fucking amazing. I be in this zone, and it's like I'm tuned out to the world, and I'm just tuned in to the now right now. So, other stuff that I do, it's just spiritual works, taking care of my body, making sure I'm eating right, well, not eating right, but making sure I'm taking vitamins and minerals and shit like that. And also enjoying my own space. A lot of times we're so attached to doing group stuff that we're not able to enjoy just ourselves. I can have fun by myself. I don't need nobody. For real, I can have fun by myself.
Mm-hmm.
That right there attract other people around when we all have a good time. But that's pretty much, I celebrate myself. For picking up like open guys, so it's good to celebrate because I see myself and others also. So
Mm, yeah. And it when you celebrate yourself, when you take the time to celebrate yourself um, more, and you get into that practice of doing that more, you learn to appreciate being by yourself.
facts.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, a lot of people get upset with me because I be in my own zone, and they're like, "Why you not paying attention to me?" And I'm just like, "Man, I'm in my own world. Like I'm creating shit. That's the whole thing about this spiritual shit. Like in my mind, it's just okay. We have this knowledge. What the fuck are we doing with it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like on some real shit. Like what we doing with it? You can say my thoughts create reality so many times to the point like, okay, let's go out here and really see how do our thoughts um, influence and manipulate reality. So I'm one of those foolish people that don't mind looking stupid, don't mind looking crazy, and go out there and live my life, you know, and, and allow the world to judge me, good or bad. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still do me. And it took years for me to come to that confidence To be like, you know what, I'm comfortable in my own skin, especially like with dancing, because dancing is perceived as like a feminine trait, so for me to dance out in the public and not really give a fuck and really tune into that feminine side also is so awesome. I really feel that. So, especially, I like to do my moon dance rituals. I like to dance during the new moon and the full moon. Man,
Hmm.
that too, real. So,
Yeah, I know that energy gets high.
oh man, there'd be so many people. It's crazy. It's like I dance at night, and there's like a stigma to like people don't like to approach strangers at night, and people just be coming up to me, and I'm like, oh my, like, what's wrong with y'all? Like y'all really coming up to a stranger, but I'm
That's the
talking.
magnetism. They want that. They want that.
Oh, they
What do they
Yeah, they
as
do.
in Seinfeld they call it man, he has not moxie, but it was something that he used. He used like a mashugana, like a moxie. Like you
Hmm.
got it.
yeah,
Like you got it. You just when you especially moving
yeah,
the body. You know what I mean? Because that's our natural African drumming and you're already moving that body, body in motion, and the more that you move, you know, it brings all that magnetism towards you. So you gotta I'm not gonna say have float you have your egoic mind just be like so big, but receive that. Be a
and
Yeah,
receiver
definitely
of
do.
that.
yeah, and
That's
and
you.
that's how I was gonna try. But the thing about it is that when I dance, I get in a zone, and I think a lot
Yeah.
of people don't understand that, and I don't try to be mean or anything because when I'm dancing, this is the opportunity for me to be in tune with myself and just to experience and enjoy the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. A lot of people really enjoy it with me also, but I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
Because I've been dancing for years. So I got into the point like I could dance right by you and not even know who you are because you're not paying attention to me, but I am. It's kind of paradoxical.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
dope.
I like that. And that's how, I mean, the more that we move our body in motion, we won't be as lethargic and sick. And, you know, our DNA cells listen to how we speak and talk to it. If it
Hmm.
says, if we continuously always say, hey, I'm tired, then you're going to be tired. Your DNA cells is listening to that. So it means that it's ramping down. It's not paying attention to what you're saying, is thinking, subconscious mind thinking like, oh, I wanted to be out in the club doing something or going to another people place or thing, kicking it and chilling. Well, none of that's going to happen for you because of the way that you've already told your body what you wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So, um, I literally have an aunt that generally used to say, how are you? How you doing, auntie? And she's like, I'm tired. Well, later on down the line, 10, 15, 20 years later, she was supposed to be ascending out in the sun, get out there, and now the sun beat her down, and now you can't remember.
Yeah.
So you lost some memory of what you were supposed to do. Instead of ascending, you stunt your growth because it remembered that you kept saying you were tired
Yeah.
and it listened to that.
Yeah.
So, um, a lot of things are systemic when it comes to the subconscious mind because of how we show up. So a lot of how I ask or the reasons of why I asked you about how you celebrate yourself is because everyone celebrates their birthday. And they have all these things that they talk about that they want to do and make plans and stuff like that. But when they after the birthday's over, then they go back to the normal complaining of I can't do something or you feel some type of a way. So that's why I asked, how do you normally celebrate yourself other than your birthday? Because when your birthday comes, you think about your creation of how you came in onto the planet. Now that I've put away those childish things and became an adult and have learned through the skills of life, of hard knock life here on the planet. I now know the subconscious mind of how I show up to the world. How do I appear up, how do I want to appear to the world, and how do I show up? How do I want to participate in this world? How am I going to, and when I do that, how am I going to communicate? In what ways? Is it going to be something that I'm planting a seed of long term or short term? Okay. Or is it going to just involve me and another person, or is it going to be involving me and another person in a people, place, or thing on some shortness? Oh, this is just a little hit it and quit it. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Or is it something that you can do at home with life and love and security? You
Yeah.
know.
I love the fact that you dance, frankly, because like personally, I love all forms of artistic expression. Because you dancing, like you living through your gift, you know. And like for me, my gift is my voice. You know, I enjoy singing. It brings me, I don't know, it's like an unspoken abundance of joy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I love the fact that you sing. I mean, not that you sing. I'm sorry, I sing, but that you dance because I don't know if you realize that you dancing and you living in that and projecting that is why those people gravitate to you because they want that same joy.
Mm-hmm.
They want to live in that same positive state.
So true.
Yeah, you
They
living through
want the
your gift makes
energy.
them want to
They
live through
feel it.
theirs.
But see, that's the thing about it. We all want that joy and happiness, but we're not willing to sacrifice the things that don't allow us to have that happiness. You know,
Absolutely.
like I started from earlier stream, from the stream. Um, I started from the street, literally. Like I was homeless. So I take so my spiritual initiation was, when I started in the streets, and I had to, understand reality like through my mind. So I had to literally create my happiness over
Yeah,
years. So it wasn't something that it just happened out of the blue. Like I literally had to fight for it, you know. So um, so when that's why I would post like put my life I put my life on the line for this shit, you know. So when I do spiritual shit, especially like when I'm dancing, like if I want to manifest something, the best time to manifest something is while I'm dancing, because I'm such a high vibrational um, um, rate that if whatever I think is going to manifest quickly.
hmm
So if I want money, I dance. If I need, whatever I'm gonna do it while dancing. And of course, while I'm dancing, like I pretend doing things. So by pretending, and I believe it's real, it's going to manifest. So I just be
Mm-hmm.
having fun, man. That's all. That's it for me.
Yeah.
like that.
And that's that part of the manifestation of if you believe it, you can achieve it, and if you know what I'm saying, you dream it
Mhm.
out, it'll happen for you. It'll manifest.
You're well.
You see it, it's already yours.
Uh oh.
Uh-oh. How do you celebrate yourself, Q?
How do I celebrate myself?
Yeah.
Man, I celebrate myself every day. I'm just playing. No, I celebrate myself every day because like, what do I do to celebrate me? I thank my DNA cellular structure for bringing me thus far and bringing me to a level of understanding to be able to wake up to the fullness thereof of my own personal DNA so that I might be able to tap in and like my joy, what brings me joy is knowing that every single morning that I wake up that I have a new time to start anew.
I say,
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and I like that, you know what I'm saying, knowing that that feeling that I have is part of my main part of my mustard seed. So whatever it is that I'm supposed to do here now, I'm doing it right now.
Right.
So if I didn't think that I was being fulfilled anywhere, who do I have to blame? If I didn't get up and do
Right.
this or try to push forward, whether it was one person or two people. My point of doing this was to be able to get our Ashe, um, to be able to do this so that I can also help heal and help heal others so that they could be able to tap in and read their own Akashic records. Okay? So, reading their own Akashic records, reading your own DNA cellular memory. Okay? I've literally remember being a child at 13 seeing my divine finger blueprint, and I didn't know what it was until I got a little older. Well, I saw it before I was 13. It was just that once I saw that at 13 was when someone was able to really say, hey, this, if you ever see this, this is what this means. This is your life path. That's, if you ever see that, then you put your thumb on it. Okay?
Right.
You put your thumb on it. And how you look for it is when you're asleep, you have your eyes closed. You can look up in your right, left, well, your right corner. Okay? It'll be in your right view, eye view. It'll be so dark, but you can see it. You just got to keep your eyes closed and you can see a fingerprint. It'll be real faint. Okay? Some people's are, depending on their level of receptivity, they'll be able to see it a little bit more prominent than others. But you can see it. And you just you imagine and putting your thumb on it. Because you can't see it, of course, once you, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Once you can't see your hand once you put it in there, but you just imagining yourself putting on there. And when that happened, I was able to see everything in a 360. I was able to see outside with my eyes closed, all kinds of different things. But you don't share a lot of that kind of stuff with people because they be like, what the hell? They're crazy. But
Right.
little babies see it all day long. And you wonder why your baby is smiling up in the ceiling. It's not because for nothing. They see stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to tap in and celebrate for yourself, I do that on a normal day. Just, you know, I do the affirmations mainly every day. At first I was kind of like, yeah, this is boring. Yeah. You know, but this, I started to do it for me, and esoterically, a lot of people don't realize that the more affirmations that you do and learn and live by, it literally uplifts you and it up levels you to the next level. Duh.
Yourself.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Yourself.
People don't realize that. That's like, if you could believe it, I mean, if you see it and believe it and you can imagine, you can achieve it. It's no different than that. You know? A lot of people don't even realize, like, well, I dreamed and imagined to be a lottery winner, but I haven't won. Well, it's because you got to learn how to be a receiver. Everybody thinks that they're a receiver and they're not.
I think a lot of people have an issue. It's patience. Because sometimes you can plant the seed, but the seed might not blossom for a year. You know, but are you still watering the seed? You know, so you know that's just like the reason I like the idea of the thought. Like if you become obsessed with a thought, for example, I write my intentions down. I write my intentions damn near every day because
Mm-hmm.
that's how much I believe in the power of thought. And I have seen that if you can focus on one particular thought, like let's say if I focus on money, like I am wealthy, and I focus on that particular thought for 365 days, something's going to happen soon. It has to. You know,
Right.
'cause your focus is just obsessive with that one particular thought. You know, so imagine with spirituality, you know, more knowledge and whatever it is that you want, you have to stay focused on it. And that's what I started to realize is like we have to make this spirituality shit work. It's not just going to drop on your lap. You know, you gotta work this shit for it to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying with my affirmations. Like at first, I was all like, this is boring, and I don't really want to do it. But every day, I found myself getting up every morning, grabbing my, you know what I'm saying, my Florida water, and rinsing my hands, and gathering my energy, my thought process to find out exactly what it is that I would want to post, what I want to focus on for the day,
Exactly.
you know. So I want to make sure that whatever it is that I'm bringing to the planet, that it will be able to help heal you. It's not some bull crap that I haven't experienced. I've experienced it. I've, dealt with other family members who've gone through different dynamics. We've grown up in families where we can say, oh, yeah, I grew up in a good family. No, everybody grew up in a dysfunctional family. I don't give a damn about what you're talking about.
Facts.
Okay? You grew up in a dysfunctional family and you pissed the hell off that the simple fact that you um can't get right.
Can't do right. I haven't heard
Lonzo
that.
laughs at me because I got on Children of the Sun, I have this analogy about all the planets, right? Like our planet right now, we sit, right? All the other planets on the planet in the universe, they're playing their universal song. They're playing their universal frequency. And when it's time for the whole universe, all the planets to sing their song, the universal choir, their song, the earth is so distorted at some point because it's not of really quite there yet. Their pitch level isn't as of the level that it should be, so it turns around and it becomes planet can't get right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite analogy. Yeah, it is one of my favorite analogies. I say the same thing all the time. Everything is energy, everything is frequency. Every frequency has a sign. You know, it's Earth not singing the right doggone pitch, so the universe cannot sing the right song. But we gonna get right. We really don't have a choice.
But each one of us learns it in a different way. And when we do, we become awakened in such of a way that is only conducive to our healing first. Okay, because if we're on an airplane, we can't put the little oxygen on our people first before we put it on us. If we the attendant, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I was trying to. A couple people are having some issues getting in. I'm trying to. Hold on, Janelle. I got you. I'm sending it to your text now. My eye been jumping all day.
Which one?
my my left one over my eyebrow.
That's all right.
I started laughing because I'm just like, okay, I get you. so so I wanted to bring in some information about levels. Okay, since we were talking about levels, can you any of you guys see this that I have up or no?
Nope.
Okay, let me bring it up. See if I can bring it up on here. Okay, so Okay. So now, can everybody see now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect, perfect. Okay, now can Aaron, is that music too loud or is it distorted?
That's cool.
Okay, cool, cool. Let me go ahead and join in. Hello, Janelle. How are you? Are you there?
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I'll go ahead and once I come back, I'll go ahead and I'll introduce you later after I come back from this. I want to do the levels real quick and then I'll come back. But until then, everybody had their phone on mute so that it doesn't give an echo. Please and thank you. Okay, so next we have here. Oops, my bad. So with this particular, okay, so with this, that we have levels. Okay, the psychologists have identified 5 levels of emotional intimacy that a person experiences as they get to know someone. Okay, so there's level 1, safe communications. Level 2, others' opinions and belief systems. Level 3, personal opinions and beliefs. Level 4, my feelings and expressions or experiences, excuse me. And level 5 is the my needs, the emotions, and the desires. Now, when we look at some of those levels, the level 1 is basically about safe communication. Okay. So when we think of communication, we think of things that might be coming through the air that might be receiving in a good way or a bad way. Okay. It depends on the circumstances for which we've placed ourselves in and whether or not we feel safe in the conversation or any interaction with any people, place, or thing that we have to communicate with. So, is it something that I can digest? Of course, naturally, if it's not something that you can digest, your intuition, your stomach, your spleen, something will let you know within your vessel, hey, this isn't right, and you need to bone the hell out. But because you've already analyzed it, you've addressed it, you've, looked at your surroundings. Is it conducive to a safe communication or a safe environment? Okay, so you've calculated it, you've addressed it, and found out what the actual core issue or truth of the matter is, and you've passed judgment, and you're out. So level 2, there's others and their opinions and their belief systems. Okay, we always know what goes on with the opinions. They're just like assholes. Everybody have them. And we know that as far as belief systems, we've had to deal with that coexist sticker for a very long time. Okay? So, level 3, the personal opinions and the beliefs. Like I said, those are just that. Everyone has personal opinions. Doesn't mean that just because your opinion is expressed, doesn't mean that it's factual, doesn't mean that it applies to other beings. It may not hold true to another's perspective or views. And then level 4, we have my feelings and expressions. So your feelings and your expressions is generally how you are going to show up through all of your relationships. If you're in your fields and he or she ain't on your level, yeah, that's where level 4 is. Level 4 is telling you that the simple fact that, hey, let me tell you something. You ain't on my level, Negro, or whoever the hell. Okay? At some point, somebody's feeling some kind of way. Okay? So, let me go back here because one of these is kind of... Okay, so when we speak of your feels and your feelings, that's part of the deluge. Okay, that's part of the deluge energy that they speak about that was here on the planet. An energetic field that was here on the planet that made people cry. It wasn't a big, huge flood that came and flooded the earth. Okay, it was an energetic field. Okay, so made everybody be in their emotions, made them be, remorseful. They weren't really receptive. Their intuition was all over the place. They became blocked because of all of the relationships that they've had with all these different people, places, and things that didn't really connect, and the experiences that they might have had with other people. Now, with that level 4, we already know at some point, when you don't have proper closure, you go on to the next people, place, or thing. And you think that you've been healed, and you haven't. You've just carried over that next feeling or that next emotion over to the next people, place, or thing, and that becomes a trauma-based energy that you start to connect with other people, thinking that it was conducive to you, to make sure that the simple fact that it was going to work with that person when it didn't. And then you getting into a relationship with someone and thinking that the simple fact that, hey, he or she is going to treat me right. And then when they don't, they say, oh, that's just the way I am. Well, if that's just the way you are, then he or she clearly have never been told that he or she's shit stinks just like everyone else's. And that no one else has ever really told them that, because they didn't get certain experiences as the same as you. They might have enjoyed that. Okay? Because there, one thing's for certain and two things for sure. That there are certain people that want to play the victim role. They like that role because it gets them attention. Okay? So
Well, I
level
did.
5. Let me finish number 5, and then we'll go on and I'll let you speak. Level 5.
Teach people how to treat you.
Yeah, but you can teach someone how to treat you, but if in the end this particular person doesn't treat you in the ways that you have tried to show them that was the way you wanted to be treated, that's what I was saying, where the person says, oh, well, that's just the way I am. When you try to check the person and say, hey, well, I don't like the way you treated me. And they're like, well, this is just the way that I am. Well, if this is just the way that you are, it's clearly, partner, ain't nobody told you that this ain't, a healthy way to interact or communicate with anyone. They just didn't have enough gumption or enough balls to tell that person, hey, like, you full of shit. Excuse my language, but you definitely got to know that, hey, when you try to show people how you want them to treat you, you can do that all day long. But if it was never in a person to do or be about in the first place, they ain't gonna never do it. They don't give a damn about whether or not it was you. They can go to the next relationship with the next people, places, and things, and they'll treat the next person just like that, because they don't know how to learn how to break that cycle for themselves. Let's go on to number 5, and then we can address some questions. So level 5 is my needs, emotions, and desires. With that, I'm going to say that with those types of emotions and mixed up feelings, with all of those levels, when someone's desires does not get fulfilled, then those people, places, or things become unfulfilled desires at some point, of course, and people get in their feels, like I said, and they can get violent. We've dealt with domestic violence. We've dealt with people never moving on to the next person when another person have gone on. They're not paying attention to that. It's no different than the one song with the Eurythmics, which makes sense now that we are older. Now we know that their particular group name has a lot to do with the mechanics of the musical tones on the planet and in the universe, of singing, some of them want to use you, some of them want to be abused. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused. Some of them want to, you know what I'm saying? It's all that. Because there are some people that they know that they may not be able to fulfill you in maybe a sexual desire way, but they have a lot of money. And that person may be looking for somebody that, hey, they want to fulfill someone's need, may want somebody eye candy on their arm. They may just be like, I'm going to pay, you know what I'm saying, cheaper to keep her, or the situation may be on the other foot. Maybe the person's broke and you got the wang wang is good. And you just keep on accepting this person because you so attached to this person of all these different people, places, and things that you think it's love when it is not. Okay, so with that being said, let me get up out of here. Okay, so we're back. Groovy.
And we back.
With that particular one, I pulled that up the other day, and I saw that, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. Well, that's kind of like what I was saying earlier with the he or she ain't on my level type of energy. I mean, we're not trying to be egoic or mean about it. You know what I mean? About the shit. It's just more or less like, how do you have a healthy communication with people? You know? But with that being said, on healing it, let's bring in Miss Janelle Williams. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you. We are starting a
Thank you
series
for the invite,
of...
Dr. Q.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. We're starting a series of intimate connections where we discuss different types of intimate connections that we've experienced and or are experiencing with different people, place, or things, whether that be with an actual physical being or our jobs. You know, some people become attached to their jobs more so than a person or human or mankind or a dog. Sometimes they get attached to those physical things like cars and stuff like that. I'm guilty of that a little bit. I'm attached to fancy cars. No, I'm just kidding. I only like to eyeball them. I'm not attached to it, you know, where I'm so much attached to the matrix system. But hey, I like to look at some good things. So Janelle, I do thank you. I appreciate you for joining us here on New Soul Order Wellness Center with the Dr. Q's Black Door. As far as any intimate connections, and let's talk about something when it comes to your being and your vessel. How do you celebrate yourself?
Celebrate every day because I feel like every day above ground is a good day.
Okay, so you burn a candle every day.
I do. I celebrate every day.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I was trying to explain that to someone, one of my cousins that's really indoctrinated, and she was just like, well, I don't think that anybody should be lighting any candles in anyone's honor. That's, you know, that's witchcraft. And I thought to myself, well, have you ever been to a memorial service? Out on the street where a kid or anybody got hurt and you go out there and everybody lights a candle and leave it there? If you've never done that, or you've done that, then if you're saying that that's witchcraft to you, and you've done it. So don't, you know what I mean? But people have made many statements and had many opinions about how people celebrate themselves. But that's a good one. You know, I throw on me to light up some candles, you know, light me up some sage, a couple of incense in here, get to cleaning, playing my music. That's how I celebrate me. I celebrate me maybe by doing my own feet and soaking my feet, because I know that when I get to the nail salon, they're basically kind of like hey, do you get your feet done? And I'm like, yeah, I do. They're like, I have nothing to do. And I'm like, well, I really came here for the massage chair.
Oh,
Yeah, I came here for the massage chair. I didn't need you to do my feet, but it does feel great. But, um, is there anything that you would like to share, Miss Williams, regarding any types of connections that you might experience with people, like even with children, with our children, and because both of our children go to school together, and for the most part, as feminine energies, we've kind of stuck together in a soul tribe because mostly everybody here, like I said, we kind of like have had some sort of a connection for over the last 3 or 4 years. Um, which I duly really appreciate. But I really appreciate you, Janelle, for always being able to converse with me, being able to be a person that is very supportive. So I can't never say that you're not a supportive friend, because you are, and I appreciate that. And you're a very good mother. I appreciate the connection of being able to say, hey, I know if something happened, hey, I know that Janelle had my child's interest at heart. Okay, best interest at heart. Um, but with that being said, that's a healing part for me, that I can say I can take pride in and be proud that the fact that I'm I appreciate the people along the way, good or bad. So if anyone ever comes to anything that I've done and put out here on the planet, if you don't like it, that has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. Okay? Because I came here and I'm reading my own personal DNA, Akashic Records. And if it's something that I can do to be able to assist the planet, to be able to help heal, then I will do that. And you can't stop me. No one can stop me, because that's what the God source within me is stating for me to do. But is there anything that anyone would like to say about any connections, that, like, as far as anything in this podcast that you might, maybe you think that we should have discussed a little bit more in the detailed, or
I
I think
think
the
it was.
discussion has been very interesting, and I, I've enjoyed it. I think that you have touched several aspects of the topic, and I may want to come back to it at some point, because I'm just jotting down notes in my, just jotting down notes. But I've enjoyed the discussion. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I think it was good. Um, I appreciated listening to different people's spiritual uh, journey from the outside looking in. Uh, so this was a good intimate connection. I learned a lot, and it was great.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Well, I do appreciate you guys, like I said, for showing up and participating in this second session. The next session, as far as any intimate connections, I wanted to address some of our chakra system and our meridian associated lines with our central vessel, as well as our governing vessel, and how we deal with those different types of emotions. So, um, Ashe, that was our confirmation on that one. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, like I said, about how our central vessel governs um, our shyness, our shame, and overwhelming of certain things that we probably need to address when it comes to that in our governing vessel. When when we don't feel supported, um, and we feel like we can't trust a lot of people, the governing vessel is the vessel that we need to be addressing. So I wanted to address the chakra colors as well as the systems, what they do, what they, as far as the different types of characteristics and attributes of where we hold something. So if I was to get so upset with you and I was disappointed, that would basically be the yellow chakra color. Okay, so it would be the spleen or your stomach. Okay, and that's generally your solar plex, because you took it to heart. When someone obviously hurts you or disappoints you, you take it to heart. So you face a lot of anxiety, low self-esteem, envy. Some people may start doing, eating, may stop eating, be like, forget it, I'm never gonna, make sure I'm never gonna stand up for those people again, or not be reliable. They become, critical of others at some point. Their low self-esteem, their low self-worth, not knowing exactly what their worth is, become very broken. Their willpower starts to decline, and they get that F the world attitude. I don't give a damn. Okay, so those are just a little bit of some of the types of things that I kind of wanted to address with that. So, but for the next show, okay, but for the next show, I do appreciate you guys. Like I stated before, I do appreciate you. Thank you for coming to Dr. Q's Black Door. I appreciate all of the guests, every single one of you, for sticking around. If you've been around this time, it's almost been 2 hours. I appreciate you. Love you guys. With that being said, I hope that someone has received some sort of information. We've been able to share a little bit with each other, kind of breaking the room. Like, hey, like, I don't want to feel uncomfortable because I'm sharing with somebody I don't know who's in the room. At least we all know when others start to join, maybe they'll feel a little bit more comfortable with sharing their stories. I know, like I said, I don't have a problem. I'm pretty much an open book. I ain't going to say I'm a total open book, but I'll tell you some things. Okay. I'll tell you some things. All right. Well, like I said, thank you for joining me with Dr. Q's Black Door. All right. Do appreciate you guys. I really do. Hope all of you guys have a good week. And things. Yes.
Yes. That's actually the ancient symbol of war. I think that's why
we do. Out of the group, we do this.
Is peace. This is war.
Yeah, we got the together. That's the peace.
That's peace.
Yeah. All right. Peace, love, and hair grease for our 9 ethers. All right.